CBC News, 19th of May 2023, my family emigrated to Canada from China to escape its influence. As it turns out, there was no way out. The hazards to freedom from Canada's inaction against foreign influence are enormous. In the 1980s, my family emigrated to this nation with a naive expectation that it would uphold the values of democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. My father's generation emigrated from Hong Kong to Canada, whereas my grandfather's generation departed mainland China for British Hong Kong. Unfortunately, some of my family members are now concerned about Canada's future due to the lack of security from foreign meddling from adversarial states, particularly the reach of the Chinese Communist Party and the fundamentalist Islamists in Pakistan. Given that both my grandfather's and my father's generations had to leave their homes behind to pursue a life of freedom, we have even developed a sarcastic joke in which we speculate where my generation may have to flee to evade the communist dictatorship. Leaving behind your home, family, and friends is violent and sad. What can you do, though? You are powerless to alter the political system. So, your only option is to leave if you don't like it. In Chinese, a proverb reads, "The situation is stronger than the people." People are little and submerged in history. My grandfather's, and my father's generation felt compelled to protect the next era from the brutality and anarchy of the communist government that took control of China in 1949 following the Second World War. In Hong Kong today, criticizing the communist government is considered subversion or treason. By doing so, I accept the risk of never being able to go back to a place I once thought home. However, I value morals and the distinction between right and wrong. History has taught us that freedom and democracy do not fall from the sky, they are the products of many men and women who came before us and fought, and sometimes died, for them. That is why, despite the dangers, I have spent the last 4 years bringing up the subject of foreign involvement. As well documented by activists who appeared before several parliamentary committees and in the 2019 Amnesty International report, people who have spoken out against China have faced considerable harassment, cyber attacks, threats, and intimidation. At this critical juncture in Canada's history, we hear a constant stream of news reports about intervention by foreign governments, from claims that China meddled in elections to the most recent information about China targeting a member of Parliament's family in Hong Kong. What message will the federal government give to people threatened daily for their advocacy work if it decides not to take decisive action against China's interference? What message does it convey to those like my father who risked everything to get here in search of something as basic as freedom? Canada needs a foreign agent to register and an impartial commission to investigate and expose any attempts by foreign governments to interfere with Canadian affairs. The United States has utilized this technology to combat foreign meddling. As a result, 2 Americans have been charged with crimes for allegedly failing to report work they performed on American territory for the People's Republic of China. The United Kingdom is also considering establishing a foreign agents registry, which would carry a potential 2-year prison sentence for failing to register political influence operations on behalf of foreign powers or foreign-controlled entities. I spent 4 long years arguing in favor of foreign agent registration. It seems as though progress towards such a change may finally occur. Such a move ought to have been made years ago. Our responsibility is ensuring the foreign agent registry is more than a formality. This indicates that enforcement resources are available, which are essential for locating covert and clandestine influence. The law should sanction penalties for those who don't comply. Furthermore, it must be made clear that the foreign agent register applies to all foreign nations that want to exert influence in Canada rather than just one specific one. There needs to be clear advice on what constitutes foreign involvement and who needs to register. Given the extensive effects of foreign intervention ignored for years, foreign agent registration is hardly a panacea. We should observe how allies like Australia bolster their election contribution rules, national security laws, and espionage laws to defend themselves from outside influence. Suppose we permit foreign operatives to quickly enter and exit the country to harass, threaten, and intimidate diaspora members. In that case, Canada will be a little more than another Chinese puppet state. We must defend Canada as an independent nation from outside meddling. We cannot concede on this subject because we lack the funds, the time, and the ability to do so. To fight foreign meddling, we must be unified and strong. Biased states can only advance their causes in Canada through partisan rhetoric.